Just a quick one before we dive in. I've just opened up 2 brand new ways to work with me. If you're an established beauty professional who's ready to increase your revenue, either in your clinic or by moving into the online mentoring and educational space, you can join me for a 2-month container where we build and validate your first online offer or your next big move. Or if you're ready to go all in, there is a 7-month private mentorship where we build, launch and scale your new revenue stream together. If you're not sure which one's right for you, I'm offering a handful of free business clarity calls, quick and powerful to map out your fastest path and to see which container fits best. Just DM me the word revenue on Instagram or check the link in the show notes and email me. Let's get into the episode.
Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook.
Hello, gorgeous beauty pros, and welcome back to another episode. I am super excited to have you here. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate every single one of you that listens into the podcast. It is just incredible to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Today I want to talk to you about a topic that I have talked about a hell of a lot over the last few years with the beauty pros that I've worked with beauty pros that I come across everywhere. It is how they want to stand out from the crowd, because obviously we're in a saturated market and they want to stand out from the crowd. They want to be able to get people to choose them and book in with them, and they don't really know how to do that. The other side of the thing is they want to do that, but they want to be themselves. And I feel you. Like, I know how hard it is to stand out but fully be yourself and like get comfortable with being yourself, because I think it can be such a daunting task to stand out, put yourself out there and feel like you're being authentically yourself. And you probably see that absolutely everywhere. Like, be your authentic self, stay true to yourself, show up as authentically you and never apologize. I always say things like, be unapologetically you. And it's all like, that's all good and well, but how do you actually think about, well, how do I get that out there in a comfortable way that feels really aligned to me? And I remember when I first ever started the Beauty Build, so this is going back like, just trying to think about when this airs, but this is going back like a good two or 3 years, and or 2.5 years. And basically I did a training, and it was all around this type of topic, and it was actually really, really well received. I really loved it. If you want to watch that training, make sure you're in the group on Facebook. Everything's linked in the descriptions. But basically, I broke it down for people, and the response was just incredible. And the results that people got from stepping into that and actually taking some things on board was really, really huge. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to come onto the podcast. I'm going to talk about this type of thing again. And it's really nice to get back into it again, because it's been so long and it's got a different twist on it. Obviously, everything I say comes from my experience. And every week in these podcasts, I do touch on like similar stuff because it's just my vibe. But it was nice to like have a think about the actual process that I used to say to people to go through, because it's pretty much the same. If you want to stand out from the crowd and you want to feel comfortable and be fully yourself, I feel like there is like method. There is ways that you can do that. The thing is as well, you are in a saturated market. So what if you don't do this? I feel like the risk of you not doing this, and anyone that just kind of like, carries on pottering along in their beauty business, on their socials, in their marketing, and they don't try to do anything different, or maybe they don't want to get themselves out there, let's just say. I feel like the risk of doing that is the fact that people won't know who you are, and people buy from people. So the risk is you're probably missing out on a big chunk of clientele, which in turn means you're missing out on a big chunk of money. And I think the first things first, you have to get over the fear of putting yourself out there. You have to realize that, yes, we're in a saturated market, but there's no one else that is you. Yes, there's other people out there doing what you do. Of course there is, but there's no one else out there that is you. And there is something special about you and unique, and it will shine through with your business. So just remember that no one else is you, and that is special. And there's no point in getting into that comparison mode of comparing yourself to others, because comparing yourself to other people is just going to ruin the whole day. It's going to ruin the mood. It's going to ruin the week, the month, the year. It's not good. And do you know why it's not good as well? Not only is it one of those things that ruins our kind of confidence and self-esteem, and we get like limiting beliefs around it and things that pull us back around it all the time. But actually, do you know what? Trying to copy somebody else and what they're doing on social media, or to put themselves out there to market their business, right? It's not going to feel good. Tell me if you think otherwise. But in my mind, if I see someone doing something and I'm like, oh, she's doing that, I'm going to have a little go. That actually isn't aligned to me, then how is that going to feel good to me? And the other thing is, it's not sustainable for your business, because if you don't like doing what they're doing, if you're copying somebody and you don't even really love what they're doing, right? How is that sustainable for your business? Because you're not going to enjoy doing it. Everything has to align to who you are as a person, which is why I think it's really good to work on the confidence, to get yourself out there more, to be truly yourself and stand out for that reason and be confident with that. The other thing about copying and comparing yourself to other people is, and I've said it so many times, so if you're a newbie, welcome. This is my stance on this. You'll never know what is going on in someone else's business. You might see their beauty business online, but you don't know what's going through the books. You don't know how many clients they've got through the door. You don't know about the struggles it's taken them to get to where they are. You don't know how successful they are. So, I'm not saying don't ever take inspiration from anybody. Absolutely not, because there are going to be people that are where you want to be, like in your eyes. And if they're where you want to be, if they're transparent about how they've gotten there, if they are inspiring you, take inspiration from those people, that's fine. But copying people just because you think, oh, that's the good thing to do, that's the next best thing, or that's trending, that's probably not the best way to go about it. So, I know it's not easy. As I say, you do have to get out of your comfort zone to do this. And that's the thing. People if they don't get out of the comfort zone, they're not going to be growing, are they? Because you don't get growth in your comfort zone. Okay, but what does it do if you step out of your comfort zone? Obviously, it removes even more of the competition. So if you think, there's too much competition here in the beauty industry, right? But you're sitting there not really getting out of your comfort zone, not really putting yourself out there, not really thinking, I'm going to show my authentic true self. I'm just going to hide behind my logo. I'm not going to get myself out there, my face, my voice, what I stand for. Then just sit there and enjoy that, and the fact that you've got loads of competition around you. Because you're not doing anything to get out of your comfort zone and stand out for being yourself, and you're not getting out of your own way. So if you can get out of your comfort zone, if you can grow, if you can do all of these things, put yourself out there, put your name out there, your face out there, and just be a bit more open with your audience, then that competition fades away a little bit. You put yourself in your own lane, and it will remove some of that. So I think the method that I would use to think about, well, how can I eliminate some of that competition? How can I stand out and fully be myself in my beauty businesses? Ask yourself some questions, right? So we've got like 5 questions, 6 questions, and you're going to go through this kind of thing, right? So the first one is, who are you? Get to know who you are. Come up with about 5 words or more, whatever. I would say minimum of 5 that actually describes who you are as a person. And you might want to ask people that know you to do this, and because it might shock you. How do I come across, kind of thing? And they tell you come across one way, and you're like, oh, okay. Don't actually realise that I come across like that, but thank you. And it gives you that insight. So who are you? And it makes me laugh, because I think I'm completely weird, apparently. Once upon a time in my corporate career, I did a personality test, and it was just on a sort of corporate level, so that the managers could understand who to work with, and I could understand who I could easily forge relationships with and conversations with and all the rest of it. And they are really good personality tests. I do actually really like doing them. Anyway, so the personality test comes back, and I am one of the odd spikes on the wheel, obviously. And I don't know if you've ever done this before, let me know if you have, but it was all about the colours, like the colour wheel, that kind of personality test where it's based on like red, yellow, blue and green. And basically, you have sort of 2 main colours, one really main colour, and then the second one, and that's sort of like what shines through outwardly, and the other 2 might be quite inward. And my first colour is yellow, I think it was, or was it blue? basically it's yellow and blue, but they're polar opposites. So the type of person you would associate with being mainly blue would never get on with somebody that, well, they would, but they'd probably have to force it a little bit. Never get on with somebody that's actually predominantly yellow. They're like two ends of the spectrum, but those are my two main colours and they're really close together. That's how strange. Yeah. If you know what I'm talking about, drop me a message and we'll have a chat, 'cause I think it's absolutely mind-boggling the way that they get these things accurate, because the actual report that it printed out on me was so accurate about my creativity, but then also about my analytical side and all the rest of it. And I was just like, this is hilarious. And when I think about stuff like that, I kind of missed going to work and having a corporate job, because that's the blue side of me. I work for myself now. I get up and do what I want. I've got my babies at home. I record podcasts. I record trainings. I speak to my clients. But it's literally, I could do what I wanted to, you know? And I feel like that analytical side of me is a little bit gone. I am on the creative side more so, which I do love. But it does make me think, oh, you know what? I'm not as organised sometimes as I used to be. And I think that's why I strive for the perfection that I do, which if anybody knows me, you know that I used to be a big perfectionist, and now I let go of that a bit more. But I think I strive for that as well in my routines and in my schedule. But I always flop, and that's the yellow in me. You know, I've got this, like, I need this planner. I buy a new planner every month, right? All of my coaching clients laugh at me and know this as well, because I bang on at them about having their planners and getting everything scheduled and time blocked, because that's the best way of doing it, right? But taking your own advice is hilarious. Taking your own advice is absolutely hilarious, because it's like, I know exactly what I should be doing and I strive for it, but I tell you what, I do flop. And I just want you all to know that, because I'm human. Anyway, that's one of the things that the personality test brought out for me. So that's question number 1. Who are you? Figure out who you are. Think of the 5 main words. Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Are you analytical? Are you creative? Are you an artist? Are you all sorts, right? Get into it. The second question I want you to ask yourself is, what is your message? So what is the message that you want people to know of you? Like, what do you want to put out there into the world? What is that lasting impression that you want to have on people of yourself, like for yourself and your business? What are your values? So message and values is kind of like one question, right? I want you to just work on it together, because it coincides. It's like the message is a strong statement, but the values it ties in with. I would always tell you, why would you not tie your message in with your values, you know? So that's that part. And then, where is your happy place to show up? Because this is all about, right, getting yourself out there so that you can stand out in this completely saturated market by being yourself. So you need to be happy in doing that. That's why I say don't copy anyone else. That is why I say pick your happy place, right? Where is your happy place? That's question number 3. And yeah, that might be Instagram, it might be Facebook, it might be that you want to show up more in live video. Think about the tools, not just the places. Think about what are you happiest doing to get yourself out there, basically. And then question 4 is, what parts of you do you actually want to share with the world? Because there are so many parts of us, right, that we're not going to share. And that is absolutely fine. I'm not saying to you, you need to tell everyone exactly what you're up to all of the time. You need to fully be yourself, right? No, you don't need to do that. But in order to connect with people on an emotional level, obviously there has to be a level of vulnerability there. You have to be open. You have to be willing to connect with people. So being fully yourself doesn't mean like you have to lay it all bare. It just means that you are open and people do understand who the real you really is, rather than just the business owner hiding behind colours, logos and social media accounts or a website, you know, and your shop front and the rest of it. And, you know, have a real think about what you want to share with the world, and then where you are on a scale of 1 to 10 with actually doing that. So there'll be different areas. It's like, in this area, on a scale of 1 to 10, how really sort of far out there are you? Are you at a 5? Are you halfway? Are you just dipping your toe in? Are you at a 3? Are you nearly there? Like, you're at a 7 or an 8? You're like, I'm nearly there. I'm pretty much like almost where I want to be with what I show to the world and how I'm getting myself out there. And then you realise what you need to do to get to a 10 in those areas that you want to show, you know? So when you start working on that, and when you start putting plans in place, and when you incorporate those things into your yearly goals, quarterly, monthly, weekly, you know, how we break those things down into our business activities and how we break it down into our lives, if you're incorporating some of that, then of course that is going to grow. You know, if that's one of your goals, if that's something that you track, if it's something that you look at and focus on, it's going to grow. So get into the work, and when you're doing that, you will realise that some of that competition is being eliminated from you because you're attracting the people that vibe with who you really, really are. So this type of work goes further than just identifying who your ideal client is, right? This kind of work goes really deep, and it gets into the fact that you need to be fully aligned with your business, what you're putting out there into the world, and how you connect with people, because you want to be yourself and you want to stand out with that, and you want to feel confident and happy doing it, not like an imposter, not like you're hiding. You know, you want to feel super confident with, I stand by this. So if there was no fear involved, what would you be doing? That is such a good question that you should ask yourself. When I first worked with, it was a coach, when I first started coaching, it was way back when. And, you know, when I got asked that question, it was like, I had an idea in my mind about the business, and I was like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And she was like, well, what would you be doing if there was no fear involved? And I was like, you know what, actually, you're so right. I'd be getting myself out there over here. I'd be doing this. I'd be building this. And it was just so eye-opening for me. And it's just so funny, isn't it, that one question can make you open your eyes, change course, and actually dig a bit deeper and be the real you. You know, I maybe would have done that in about 6 months' time. But because I was still a little bit scared, I was still holding myself back a little bit. I was still not fully putting myself out there as myself. I was a little bit, you know, there were a few limiting beliefs going on. I was holding myself back a tiny bit, and I was sitting in my comfort zone a tiny bit. So I thought, right, this step will be this. And then I thought I had to work up to the next one. But really, I just realised, actually, let's remove that fear, or put it in the pocket, take it with us for the ride. And let's just do it anyway. Let's just, you know, get myself out there in the way that I would if I wasn't scared. That is what you should always be doing. And I know it's hard, and I know obviously it's scary, but that's what you have to do to grow your levels of confidence and trust in yourself, to show that when you do these things, nothing bad is going to happen. Like, nothing bad is going to happen to you. So get going with it and think about what you would be doing if the fear wasn't involved. And then figure out, once you know all of this about yourself, and you know how you really want to get out there, that really helps you. And this is what I do with clients. It's like, it really, really helps you then figure out your most important things in your business. It makes you figure out, you know, the best things about your brand. It makes you understand on a deeper level your niche. It makes you understand your USPs on a deeper level, you know, your unique selling points. So it's like, how am I going to stand out in these areas, fully being myself? How can I bring those words through about myself, those 5 main words about who I am as a person, into my brand? How can I then, you know, bring in colours that make people feel that way? How can I then align my brand to everything that I know about me and what I want to give to the world, and my message? What language can I use? How can I connect with my niche, my small area of the market? How can I connect with my niche with this language and those things and this? And you get to align all of this, and you get to choose to put your energy here, and then you stand out. And again, like I said, the unique selling points come through as well, because you know things on a deeper level. And a lot of people, they're not doing this because, you know what, it sounds a bit woo-woo, or it sounds a little bit too much effort. And in this industry, so many people are coming out of college, or they're coming out of a specific course. Maybe it's just a nail course, maybe it's massage, you know, all these things that we do in this industry, laser, semi-permanent makeup, all the rest of it, aesthetics. People are coming into the industry, and they are, you know, they're either doing it on the side like I was, or they are building it up as a hobby, or they're whatever. So if you can do this straight out of the gate, don't you think that you're going to be standing out from people? Because yes, the market is saturated, but the majority of people that are in this market, the majority are mobile, by the way, are self-employed. The majority of the self-employed pool in the beauty industry is mobile. And also, they are not getting out of their comfort zone and doing this work because maybe it's not their main income. Or, you know, it's all sorts of different variables that go on that mean that you are going to be standing out because you're doing this work, because it's more than the average would do. So get all of that down, and then you've got your attraction marketing down in a nutshell. I really think that, you know, it's once you tie all of this together, you can start attracting the right people to you. You can start thinking about how you make them feel, and it'll be at the forefront of your brain because you've done all of this work, and you've figured everything out to a T, like how you want to show up and what you want to be putting out there to the world, and connecting with people on a deeper level. So it's like, how can you keep that going between what you're putting out there into the world and how they're seeing you when they first come across you as a potential client, to okay, so then how do we pull that through into when they're with us? Because it's all got a match. The customer journey has to be matching throughout, from before they are a client to during the time that they're a client with you to actually after they leave the salon. So it's nailing all of this down into all of these things so that then you can think of other ways of standing out along the journey. And you can think about, how can I add more value, and how can I keep growing this, because you want to attract the clients, you want to wow the clients, and then you want to retain the clients. I absolutely love this stuff. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one, guys.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.